India has banned 59 apps from China, including TikTok. How does the president knows about it, and what are his views on this?
So with regard to India and China, we're closely monitoring the situation. He is as well. Both India and China have expressed a desire to de-escalate, and we support a peaceful resolution of the current situation.
The Chinese Communist Party has a saying when it comes to their warfare, psychological warfare operations, and other forms of subversion: strangle you with your own systems.
The story begins in 1993, when India and China signed an agreement not to use firearms against each other along the borders. Indian negotiators were happy because they felt the border would be peaceful once again after great violence during the 1959 to 1993 period that resulted in many casualties both on the Indian and Chinese sides. The aftermath of the treaty, however, evolved differently from the expectations of the Indian negotiators. The Chinese Communist Party and its military arm, the People's Liberation Army, weaponized the treaty and grabbed thousands of acres of land during the 1993 to 2020 period. The People's Liberation Army tactic to achieve this was to settle some nomads in unoccupied areas. They then moved in telling the Indians that those were traditionally parts of China.
I'm the captain now.
This was also possible because there were plenty of roads on the Chinese side, while on the Indian side there were no roads at all, meaning Indian soldiers had to walk many days in order to reach the border. In the year 2000, India finally started building roads on their side of the border. By 2013, they had achieved great progress, and this resulted in conflicts between unarmed Indian and Chinese soldiers in the border areas. A lot of Chinese people think China has suffered plenty of territorial loss since the Qing dynasty. China ceded a lot of land and lost control of many islands, which deeply hurts the pride of many Chinese people. The country has however become more powerful in the recent years, both economically and in the military sector. Despite this success, they have to face the reality that most of the disputed territory is under control of other nations. When it comes to the Chinese government, they try to be more rational and think more comprehensively. On one side, the government is facing a lot of pressure from its people. On the other side, the government is concerned that wars will destroy the emerging economy and political image of China, both of which have taken a great hit in the recent years. Earlier on in this video, I spoke about a border that is causing tension between these two nations.
Our area. Yeah. This is not your bloody area. This is not your area. No. This is our area. This is our area. And
Let's pay more attention to this. To truly understand it, a third country will have to come into play. Introducing Bhutan, a country which signed the Friendship Treaty with India in 1949 that obligates India to defend Bhutan in foreign affairs and issues of national importance. Now, Bhutan and China share Doklam, a continuous border that is 470 kilometers long, but relations are historically tense and they do not maintain official diplomatic relations. Bhutan and India think the area belongs to Bhutan, while China thinks the area belongs to her. In 2017, China started building roads in the Doklam border, and this triggered India and Bhutan. For Bhutan, it's just a mere territory, but for India, it's something that can strangle its Siliguri corridor that connects the northeast India with the rest of the country. If someone took this region, they could effectively block it and break it from the rest of India. Thus, India made far bigger noise than Bhutan and started putting its troops in Doklam to suppress Chinese aggression. China responded by also putting their own troops there. With both countries' troops at the border, a war was most likely to break out, as none of the countries wanted to back down. India went ahead and threatened to boycott the BRICS summit that was to be held on 3rd September 2017 in China. If India had backed out, the whole summit, also attended by Russia, Brazil and South Africa, would have been cancelled. And that would have been a big shame for China's president.
shame.
The result was a meeting between representatives for both countries, where the expeditious disengagement of border personnel agreement was signed, meaning both countries agreed to withdraw their forces. China also agreed to stop all roadwork in the region. For India, it was a victory as they managed to safeguard the Siliguri corridor, and for China, it was also a victory as they were able to get Indian troops to back off without firing a bullet.
I see this as an absolute win.
After the agreement, the situation remained somewhat peaceful until the night of June 15, 2020, in the icy valley of Galwan in Ladakh, 4,700 meters above sea level, when a fight between Indian and Chinese soldiers erupted. Remember, No firearms are allowed in this region, so the fight only involved fists and stones. At least that's what the Indian soldiers thought. The Chinese, however, fought with metal rods spiked with nails, and they outnumbered the Indians 6-1. The result was the death of 20 Indian soldiers, either by being bashed to death, thrown out of the ravines, or left to slowly freeze to death. China did not mention the number of casualties they suffered. For this, India had to retaliate because, well, the people wanted revenge for their fallen soldiers. India could have gone ahead and sent fighter jets to bomb the Chinese in the region like they did with Pakistan. But things were different here because they know China is a global leader with war-capable power, unlike Pakistan. Remember in chapter 2 when I mentioned China is concerned about its emerging economy? That's what India went for instead. India was the largest market for Chinese products, and the Indian government started by banning Chinese companies, making them lose billions in profits and a huge user base. Fast forward to 3rd September 2020, India went ahead and banned another 118 Chinese apps, together with PUBG Mobile. This ban significantly resulted in a $14 billion tax loss to Tencent, the company behind PUBG Mobile, in just 3 days. That's where the two countries are at the moment, but India has also threatened to ban Chinese OEMs in the future. For those of you who don't know, OEMs are tangible goods, which have greater value than any of the Chinese apps. And that brings us to the end of this video. If you found it informative, be sure to support the channel by subscribing and leaving a like.